Hi Year 11s, I'm just posting this video to, as promised, to give you an explanation of the learning curves, which is an element of your assignment that you needed to complete. And as I've just started marking some drafts, and I have seen that it is an area that you do need an extra explanation in. So the document that you're seeing here is the PDF text that you've downloaded from my site, and you can see here that I'm on page 20. So after you've listened to this video, I do encourage you to go and have a look at the page 20 and 21 because it gives you some explanations of these four curves. Alright, so a learning curve is a visual representation of your learning progression through a term of sport, as you've been completing here this year for volleyball, or it could be applied to a season of sport. Okay, so you've got two axes for your curves. The y-axis is your measure of performance. So down the bottom here, so the bottom part of the y-axis would mean, maybe like a cognitive stage of learning where there's lots and lots of errors and the performance is poorer. And then the higher you get on the y-axis, the better the performance, and therefore you're going through the associative and approaching the autonomous stage. The horizontal axis, it reflects, it's basically a time axis, so number of practices. So for you guys, it's the start of the term is at this end and the end of the term is at this end. So you've got four types of curves, and your job is to choose one of them that relates to how you have progressed in your learning throughout the term. So I'll give you an explanation of each one. I have my idea of which curve I think most of you would fall into, and I'll share that with you, but you don't have to agree with me. You can choose a curve and justify it yourself. So curve A is not really a curve, it's a straight line, so it's the linear curve, and it basically means that as the term has progressed, your improvement in performance has increased at a steady rate. Okay, so you improved in week 1, you improved in week 2, right through to week 10, kept improving. Curve B is the fast start curve, and this might be for a person who would bring prior experience to the sport of volleyball, or who might bring a transfer of skills to the sport of volleyball. For example, they've played tennis, or they've played basketball, or some other sport where the skills are transferable. So what happens here is in the early part of the term, in the first half, improvement is rapid because they've got that prior experience, and so they improve in skills really quickly. And then towards the end of the term, their level of improvement starts to plateau. And a plateau can be as a result of many factors. It can be because you've had that prior experience, so you get that rapid improvement. A plateau can also be because motivation has gone down, or some other factors, and there are an explanation of those factors down here on page 21. Curve C is the slow start curve, and this is the curve that I'm suggesting many of you may choose as the one that you put into your assignment. It's the slow start curve, so that means in the early part of the term we have very, very steady and slow improvement in your execution of skills. Right? And then we get to about 3/4 of the way through the term and we get this rapid improvement. Okay? And that's what I've seen generally from the class, and I think there's a few reasons for that. Number one, we have done a lot of extra practices. Many of you have Monday first break, Friday first break, and those practices have started to pay off towards the end of the term. It's all sort of coming together for you. That's one reason. The second reason, in my opinion at least, is the fact that once we did that theory lesson on feedback and skill learning, and I talked to you about how positive reinforcement and energy on the court has a big impact on your learning, and then you applied that to your practice lessons, that energy on the court and that positive reinforcement has helped a lot of you and given you a lot of confidence to be able to execute your skills better, and therefore your performance has improved. So you can agree with me on that, but you don't have to. You can choose any curve you like as long as you've justified it. The last curve is the stop-start curve, and this one is quite common for many athletes. So what would happen here is the first part of the term there's a very, very minor improvement in performance, and then you get to about halfway and there's this very, very rapid improvement of performance where the curve almost goes vertical. It's like you're trying and trying and trying and it doesn't click, and then all of a sudden it clicks and your performance performance goes way up and then you get another plateau. And if this line was to continue, you might get another spike up here and then another plateau. Alright, so that can happen for various sports, and usually that's sport specific. Some sports just require practice, 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 and then one day you'll eventually get it. I'm thinking of a good example. Archery is a really good example. When you're learning archery, you have a lot of failures at the start. You just miss the target and miss the target, and then one day it clicks and all of a sudden you've got it. Okay, and golf is another sport that can be a little bit similar too. Sometimes you have real rapid improvements followed by a plateau. So there you have it. There's your 4 types of learning curves. You need to choose one of them and include that in a discussion in your assignment. I hope this helps. If you need further explanation, all you need to do is ask.